Before there were cities, before roads carved across continents, before human beings had named the natural world, there was the forest. A forest so vast, so ancient, so alive, that from above it seems less like land and more like an endless green ocean. This is the Amazon rainforest, a place of beauty and brutality, of silence and thunder, of life in its most extraordinary forms. Here, every branch can hide a hunter, every flower can become a battlefield, and every drop of water helps power one of the greatest living systems on Earth. The Amazon spans millions of square kilometers across South America, weaving through nations, climates, and cultures. But its true power lies not in its size alone. It is a world of connections. Trees summon rain, rivers carry life, insects pollinate entire forests, predators shape the balance, and hidden in the shadows are species still unknown to science. For millions of years, the Amazon has evolved as one of Earth's greatest masterpieces. But now, for the first time in its long history, this kingdom of life faces a threat unlike any before. To understand why it matters, we must first step inside. Welcome to the Amazon. At first glance, the Amazon is almost impossible to comprehend. It stretches across much of northern South America, crossing borders that mean little to the creatures living within it. From mist-covered treetops to winding black-water streams, this is the largest tropical rainforest on Earth. Seen from the sky, it appears endless. But the Amazon is more than a forest. It is a living engine. Its trees release vast quantities of moisture into the atmosphere, helping to create clouds and rainfall not only here, but across entire regions. In many ways, the forest makes its own weather. Rain falls, roots drink deeply, leaves release vapor back into the air, and the cycle begins again. This constant exchange of water and heat gives the Amazon its rhythm. In the wet season, rivers swell and spread into the forest, transforming dry ground into temporary lakes. Fish move between the trunks of submerged trees. Riverbanks disappear, pathways vanish. In the dry season, the water retreats, revealing mudflats, beaches, and hunting grounds for birds, reptiles, and mammals. Nothing here stands still for long. And yet, despite its abundance, survival in the Amazon is never guaranteed. Nutrients in the soil are often scarce, sunlight is fiercely contested, space is limited, competition is everywhere. To survive here, life has had to become inventive. Some trees rise like towers, racing upward to reach the sun. Others spread wide buttress roots for support in soft, shallow soil. Vines twist upward using others as ladders. Epiphytes cling to branches high above the ground, drawing moisture from the air. In the Amazon, every layer is occupied, every niche is claimed. And above it all, the canopy rules. High above the forest floor lies another world entirely. The canopy is where sunlight is richest, where flowers bloom in abundance, and where some of the Amazon's most dazzling creatures make their home. Here, movement is swift and constant. Monkeys leap across impossible gaps with breathtaking precision. Macaws flash through the treetops in bursts of red, blue, and gold. Sloths cling motionless to branches, surviving by mastering stillness. Everything in the canopy is a balance between exposure and opportunity. For many species, height means food. Fruit, nectar, leaves, insects, all are found here, but so are rivals. A troop of monkeys moves with purpose, searching for ripe fruit before another group reaches it first. Their calls echo across the trees, warning, claiming, communicating. Nearby, a toucan waits with remarkable patience. Its oversized bill, strange at first glance, is a perfectly adapted tool, reaching fruit at the tips of branches too fragile to bear its weight. And hidden among the leaves, almost invisible, a tree frog clings to the underside of a branch. Its body is tiny, but its role is immense. Insects are controlled here by countless hunters too small to notice until they move. The canopy is also home to one of the rainforest's most important partnerships, pollination. Flowers compete for attention. Some open only at night for bats. Others attract hummingbirds with brilliant color and nectar. Many rely on bees, beetles, butterflies, and moths to transfer life from one bloom to another. It is a silent exchange, but one that shapes the future of the forest. And then there are the specialists. Creatures evolved for a single kind of fruit, a single kind of prey, a single season. Such precision makes the Amazon spectacular, but it also makes it fragile. Because in a world too tightly connected, when one thread is lost, others begin to loosen. Still, for now, the canopy remains one of the richest habitats on the planet, a suspended kingdom of feathers, fur, wings, and leaves. But beneath it, another world waits. Little sunlight reaches the ground. Down here, the forest feels different, darker, denser, more secretive. The air is heavy, the earth is damp, and every fallen branch, every patch of leaf litter, every hollow trunk becomes part of a hidden struggle for survival. This is the forest floor. Here, decomposers reign. Fungi spread through rotting wood. Beetles tunnel through dead bark. Termites dismantle fallen giants piece by piece. What dies in the Amazon rarely remains still for long. It is broken down, recycled, returned to the living system. Death here is not an ending, it is a transfer. And among the shadows move some of the Amazon's most elusive inhabitants. An agouti pauses to listen, feeding on fallen fruit and seeds. In doing so, it helps shape the forest itself, burying food that may later grow into new trees. Leafcutter ants march in astonishing numbers, carrying fragments of green above their heads like sails. They are not eating the leaves directly, but farming fungus deep underground, one of the most advanced agricultural systems in the natural world. Elsewhere, camouflage becomes the difference between life and death. An insect mimics a leaf. A snake disappears against roots and shadow. A frog warns predators with impossible color. Everything here is either searching or trying not to be found. And somewhere in this undergrowth, an apex predator moves with near-perfect stealth. The jaguar. Powerful, patient, and almost silent, it is one of the Amazon's most iconic hunters. Unlike many big cats, the jaguar is as comfortable in water as on land. It can stalk through reeds, swim across channels, and deliver a crushing bite powerful enough to pierce turtle shells. Its presence alters the behavior of everything around it. In the Amazon, predators do not simply kill, they shape the landscape of fear, forcing prey to move, hide, adapt. And this constant pressure keeps the ecosystem in balance. The forest floor may appear still, but it is never quiet. It is alive with signals we rarely notice: chemical trails, vibrations, scents,
warnings, and opportunities. A hidden world, but no less important than the bright life above. And beyond the roots and shadows, the forest gives way to water.
Water is the lifeblood of the Amazon. From narrow streams to vast floodplains, the basin is threaded by one of the largest river systems on Earth. These rivers do more than flow through the forest. They define it. They transport nutrients. They connect habitats. They create breeding grounds, and they serve as highways for both hunter and hunted. In places, the river appears calm, a mirror of sky and forest. But beneath the surface, life is in constant motion. Schools of fish navigate murky waters where visibility is limited and danger can come from any direction. Some feed on fruit dropped from overhanging trees. Others sift mud, hunt smaller fish, or scavenge whatever the river brings. In flooded forests, boundaries blur. Fish weave between submerged trunks. River dolphins hunt where monkeys once moved overhead. Caimans patrol the margins, waiting for a moment of weakness. The Amazon river dolphin, with its pale body and flexible neck, is uniquely adapted to this maze of branches and shallow channels. It turns with surprising grace, navigating a drowned forest that would trap many other predators. And then there is the piranha. So often reduced to myth, it is not frenzy that defines this fish, but sensitivity. Vibration, scent, sound, all matter in waters where sight can fail. In the right conditions, they are efficient and formidable. Above them, kingfishers dive, herons stalk, eagles scan the water from exposed branches. Every level of the river is occupied. And where water meets man, survival becomes especially perilous. Capybaras gather at the banks. Tapirs wade to feed. Young creatures come to drink. All must weigh thirst against risk. Because in the Amazon, the edge of the river is also the edge of danger. A sudden strike from below, a rush from the reeds, a shadow overhead. To live here is to read the landscape constantly. To hesitate can mean death. To move at the wrong time can mean the same. Yet despite its dangers, the river is a source of abundance. It feeds the forest, nourishes its inhabitants, and binds distant regions into one living whole. Without the rivers, there is no Amazon as we know it. But the Amazon is not shaped by wildlife alone. For thousands of years, people have lived here too. Long before outsiders arrived, the Amazon was already home. Human communities have lived within these forests for thousands of years, learning their rhythms, reading their seasons, and building lives deeply connected to the land and water around them. To many indigenous peoples, the Amazon is not a wilderness to be conquered. It is home, teacher, provider, ancestor. Knowledge here is passed through generations, where fish gather when waters rise, which plants heal, which trees bear fruit, which sounds in the night should never be ignored. This is knowledge shaped by attention, by living with the forest rather than against it. For countless communities, survival depends on balance, taking what is needed, respecting cycles of renewal, and understanding that the health of the forest and the health of the people cannot be separated. And yet, this relationship is often overlooked. The modern world has long imagined the Amazon as empty land, vast, wild, and unused.
But this view ignores the people who have protected it for centuries. Their cultures, languages, and traditions are part of the Amazon's living story. And in many places, they now stand at the front line of its defense. As roads push deeper into once remote regions and industries search for timber, minerals, land, and profit, those who know the forest best are often the first to witness its loss. They see the rivers change color, hear the silence where birds once called, watch smoke rise beyond the trees. The fate of the Amazon is not only an environmental story, it is also a human one. Because when forests disappear, more is lost than habitat. Memory is lost. Language is lost. Ways of seeing the world are lost. And now, the pressures on this great rainforest are growing.
For millions of years, the Amazon has endured storms, droughts, floods, and natural change. But the speed of what is happening now is different. Across parts of the rainforest, trees are being cleared at a pace the ecosystem cannot easily absorb. Land is burned, roads cut through once unbroken forest. Mines and logging operations push into sensitive habitats. Fragment by fragment, the great green expanse is broken apart. And when the forest is divided, everything changes. Species that once ranged freely are confined. Breeding patterns are disrupted. Edges dry out. Temperatures rise. Fire, once rare in many rainforest regions, becomes more likely. What appears to be a local loss can trigger far wider consequences. Because the Amazon is not simply a collection of trees. It is a climate system, a water system, a living network of astonishing complexity. Weaken one part, and the effects ripple outward. Some scientists warn that if too much of the Amazon is lost, parts of it may struggle to recover in the form we know today. Dense rainforest could give way to drier, simpler landscapes. A transformation on a massive scale. And with it would come consequences not only for the animals and people of the region, but for the planet itself. Still, there is reason for hope. Conservation efforts, indigenous stewardship, scientific research, and public pressure have all shown that destruction is not inevitable. The future of the Amazon has not yet been written, but the decisions made now will echo for generations. The Amazon is often called the lungs of the earth, but perhaps it is something even greater, a living archive of evolution, a cathedral of biodiversity, a reminder of what the natural world can become when life is given time. Here, every creature, from jaguar to ant, from orchid to giant tree, is part of a story far older than our own. A story of adaptation, of interdependence, of survival through connection. To lose the Amazon would be to lose one of Earth's greatest wonders. But to protect it is to protect something essential, not only for those who live within it, but for all of us. Because this rainforest is not merely a distant place on a map. It is part of the same planet that gives us air, water, weather, and life. And perhaps that is the Amazon's greatest lesson, that in nature, nothing truly stands alone. Deep in the green heart of South America, the forest still breathes, still grows, still fights to endure. And as long as it does, the story of the Amazon is not over. It is still being written.